Waycross presents an election forum for Hamilton County Commissioner commencing January 2nd, 2017. There are two individuals running for one seat. They are, in alphabetical order, Andrew Pappas and Todd Portune. And good evening. I'd like to welcome you to this Waycross election forum. This being for Hamilton County Commissioner commencing in January 2nd, 2017. I'm Jason Grzgorek, Waycross Community Media's Government Access Coordinator, host and moderator for this evening's event. I'm very fortunate to have both candidates with me. To my left, Mr. Pappas, and Mr. Portune to my right.
Good evening.
Glad that you can both join us this evening.
Glad to be here.
I will be starting it out with Mr. Pappas, opening it up with a 2-minute opening statement. From there, I will, at that point, open up, of course, giving up Mr. Portune the opportunity as well, and then opening it up to you, the voting audience at home. So without any further ado, Mr. Pappas, 2 minutes to you.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Pappas, and I'm currently a trustee in Anderson Township, where I'm president of the Board of Trustees, and I've been there for 3 years. Love what I do. I am also a small business owner. I have 2 businesses. I do dry cleaning, and I have one business located in Anderson Township, been there for close to 20 years, and the other business is in Hyde Park. And I have come to public service out of a sense of duty. I was a small business owner and became concerned with some of the intrusion of government into the business world, the daily effects of running a business, and I thought, you know, rather than complain, I'm going to get involved, get engaged, and make a difference. And I feel that I've done that in Anderson Township. We have a wonderful, thriving community, voted quite recently one of the best places or most desirable places to live. And I was concerned about some of the things I saw going on at the county level and felt that the opportunity became available to run for commissioner, that it was truly an honor to be asked, and I accepted that, and so I accepted the opportunity, and I'm currently running for county commissioner because I think it's important that we maintain a good fiscally conservative direction on county commission, and that's why I'm doing it. I ask that, you know, I think it's important to bring a small business perspective to government. And I think that's missing because I think small business still employs the vast majority of people in this country. And I truly come to it with an open mind and a desire to serve and make Hamilton County a thriving and better place to live.
Okay. Mr. Portune, 2 minutes to you as well.
And Jason, thank you very much. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Todd Portune. I'm your current Hamilton County Commissioner. And I want to begin by thanking all of you for the privilege and really the honor to have served you as your county commissioner over this past term. It is a job that I love very much, just like Mr. Pappas. I come to public service both honestly and passionately. I think there's no greater job than the job that I have. I get to wake up every day thinking about how can I make a positive difference in the lives of people. I'm a lifelong Hamilton County resident. I was born in Price Hill. I grew up in Coleraine Township. When I was in law school, I lived in Clifton. I lived downtown for almost 6 years, lived in the Walnut Hills area, then to Westwood, and currently I'm raising my family in Greene Township, Ohio. So I've got a great appreciation for the wonderful neighborhoods that we have all over Hamilton County, and both the different forms of government, big city, small city, township. We have a wonderful place to live, and I have used my time as your county commissioner to make sure that we not only meet our challenges, but that we create a very vibrant future for all people in Hamilton County. And I emphasize that because I think it's very important that we have an inclusive county and that we have a vision, a positive growth county. I'm considered to be a fiscal conservative on Hamilton County government, but at the same time, I believe that government can and should play a role, and there are times when government does need to spend money in order to make a difference. We help to prime the pump of economic development. We're very valuable in terms of promoting public health and behavioral health throughout the county. We play a critical role in areas of community public safety, both our role with the courts and corrections, but also our role with respect to emergency preparedness and homeland security. where I sit as both a member of the Emergency Management Agency Executive Committee, but also I am the chair of the county's Homeland Security Commission.
And that's time.
I'm sorry, Jason?
And that's time.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It is.
Well,
It
thank you
is.
very much. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At this point, now that the opening statements are done, it's up to you. 825-3971 is our phone number. Live@waycross.org is our email. Please interact in this democratic process. If you are calling, please talk to our phone handler and leave just your name and a basis of your question, as well as the part of town in which you're living in. You can also ask the email. Make sure that all questions are to both candidates and not pointed questions. First question I'm going to ask goes to Mr. Portune, starting off. Top 3 issues you feel are facing Hamilton County.
Well, there's no doubt that the first issue has to do with cleaning up the mess at the Metropolitan Sewer District. That's been an ongoing problem. I spend the most of my time dealing with that. We've worked very aggressively on it. I've gone to Washington. I've stood up to EPA. We've got a bill in front of Congress right now that will save ratepayers $1 billion on their costs with respect to rate charges. I was a part of creating the ratepayer affordability task force that made recommendations to us, which, because of my insistence, is finally in front of the board for a vote. We're voting on it October the 10th, a number of the recommendations that were made there. So that's clearly number one in terms of issues. Second, I believe that we need to transport the county into the 21st century. We lack a regional multimodal transportation system that's connecting people across the county and that's also providing access to jobs. But our transit system needs to not only move people from point A to point B, but it's critical that it also move freight and goods throughout the county efficiently and effectively. That's going to create the majority of new business opportunities. Frankly, it's the greatest economic tool that we're going to have in the next 100 years, is providing access to new development sites and access in the way in which commerce moves through Hamilton County. And then third, creating jobs here in Hamilton County. We create jobs by affecting the business climate in a positive way, by having safe, livable communities. We do that by working collaboratively with our partners in the educational system and working to make sure that we have skilled workforce that businesses are looking for. One reason, or the reasons that businesses look to in a community for their jobs and where they locate, is the workforce and accessibility to sites for their employees to get to and from, and also to receive the goods they need to manufacture and to ship their goods out of where they manufacture. So we've got to provide that kind of access and new site development for a thriving, viable economy in Hamilton County.
Okay. Mr. Pappas, same question.
Thank you. I think the first and foremost, Todd's correct, MSD, Metropolitan Sewer District, is clearly the most pressing situation or affecting Hamilton County currently. I'm affected by it more than any other candidate running, because in my particular business, I've seen my rates go from approximately $700 a quarter to over $2,000 a quarter for one location. And that's not in a business that uses a lot of water. So that puts Hamilton County businesses at a disadvantage compared to the other counties, because the cost of doing business is more, and we're telling businesses, don't locate here, go somewhere else. So I think that the transference or the new direction that MSD is going to go, whether the county takes it over or some board takes it over, I think remains to be seen. But I would say that something has to change there. The amount of money that is being spent is staggering. It is the subject of an investigation, and I think that you need a small business perspective to help clean that up. Secondly, I would say that transportation is a very key issue. My employees rely on public transportation to get to and from work. I disagree a little bit. Todd and I will disagree on the forms of those transportations. I'm a big proponent of, I think buses are the best way to move people to and from, and I would support anything that we can do to improve that system. And I would say third, probably the most important, well, back to transportation for a second, we also have some key infrastructure projects that are important to different parts of the city. For example, the Western Hill Viaduct is very, very important. That's something that should be addressed. So that's part of the transportation. The third thing I would say is another huge problem that we really need to address at a county level is the heroin epidemic, because it's affecting all of us. It's affecting everyone we know, businesses. We're all struggling with it, and we really need to get ahead of this problem.
All right. Well, we knew it was going to come. The question was going to be bared to ask. MSD. And Mr. Pappas, first question coming out to you. How does one fix said problem? It is the elephant in the room. And that would be 2 minutes to you.
Do I just get 2 minutes?
Well, we get a volley back and forth. But
You want mine too?
Truly, I think one of the major problems with MSD that has been happening is we have a lot of this. You know, you own it, we operate it, you own it, and there's no real sense of accountability because it's for too long it's been a situation where it's not my fault, it's his fault. And that needs to end. There needs to be one owner, one operator, and that entity needs to be responsible and answerable to the voters. So first and foremost, I would say let's end this really odd situation where you have one person owning it and another entity operating it, and let's get it under one house. Secondly, I'd say once that's done, I think the county has demonstrated a better ability as far as living within their means. They've cut their budget approximately 33% over the past several years. So I think that means that the entity that runs MSD, I think the county clearly should be the one doing it because they've been the ones that have demonstrated the ability to live within their means. I don't think the city has. So that would be my first and foremost priority. It's not going to be clean and it's not going to be pretty, but the marriage has to end at some particular point, and I think we're there.
Mr. Portune, same question.
Well, first of all, I would say thank you to Mr. Pappas for acknowledging the good work that the Commission has been doing, that it's been unanimous effort, bipartisan effort by the Commission in working to try to provide the kind of oversight at MSD that has been missing and has been a problem. This issue of finger pointing that does exist, it occurs largely with MSD as an entity that has two masters, the city and the county, because of an agreement that none of us were a part of creating, but we've had to live under since 1968, that mercifully is going to come to an end 2 years from now. But MSD, by reporting to two masters, has instead been accountable to none. The county is the owner of the district, and as such, the county has a variety of rights and responsibilities as far as that goes. Regrettably, we've had to resort to submitting Freedom of Information Act requests to the city, even to get basic information. So it's clearly a marriage that has to end, and it will end. It's going to end by operation of the contract or by law unless we work it out ahead of time, and I think a negotiated solution is better than that, but a solution will come forward. I'm at a disadvantage on this question, and I hope your viewers will understand. Because the city and the county are engaged in active negotiations right now in what is a piece of litigation in front of the federal courts, the United States District Court judge that's overseeing this and overseeing our negotiations, where we have been meeting weekly with the city to come up with a negotiated answer to what MSD will look like at the end of the 68 agreement, or hopefully before 2018, because we can't have this situation continue a day longer than it does. But the judge has ordered all of the participants, which are the mayor of the city, occasionally the vice mayor, and the three county commissioners, has ordered us not to speak at all about what we're talking about in terms of what the solution is, subject to being in contempt of court and having the federal marshals come in and whisk us away to federal housing. So I'd love to get into those details, but I regret that I am unable, because of a federal court order, to talk about it.
And Mr. Pappas, you can continue for 30 seconds if you so choose.
No, I mean, it's just, you know, we've heard arguments that, you know, it can't end because a particular, I've heard the argument that, well, we can't have the county take it over because the loss of those workers will endanger the city's pension. And I would retort that it's not the responsibility of the MSD employees or the taxpayers to support the city's pension. That's not the responsibility of the taxpayers. The responsibility of MSD is to provide efficient, affordable water and sewage to the residents of Hamilton County, not to prop up the city's pension system.
Ms. Fortune, you can cap the question.
Thank you. Well, I agree that it's not the county's obligation to do that, and certainly I never made that point or suggested that point. The other issue, though, with respect to MSD is all of this with the city is also having a direct impact on rates and costs at MSD. So we've got to get a solution as quickly as we can. We're working very hard to do that, but we're also working equally as hard to reduce rates through Ratepayer Affordability Index, which will allow us to reopen the consent decree in 2017 and negotiate a fairer deal for ratepayers.
All right. Mr. Portune, we have brought up a little bit of issue called money, and obviously we've seen how the county has had to tighten the budget greatly. How does one take a look, if getting into the seat on the 2nd of January, how does one continue that? And I'm going to give this for a minute response, and then I'll go over to Mr. Pappas on that.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm very proud to say that I've played a part in the right sizing of county government through the Government Reform Task Force that I appointed when I was president of the board, and we've implemented the majority of the recommendations to the work that we have done in dealing with the challenges of the recession that have resulted in a reduction in the county workforce by a fourth and a reduction in county spending fully by a third. We keep the budget further under control through aggressive shared services programs with our townships, our municipalities, and the city of Cincinnati. I've been the biggest proponent of that, from convening a summit on shared services to creating the City-County Regional Cooperation Shared Services Committee, where we're working regularly with the city in reducing budgets. But beyond that, we've got to have the departments in the county adhere to their budgets. We've got budget anarchy that's going on in the county right now. I've proposed a solution to that, which is to only allow for quarterly appropriations. Regrettably, the majority of the county has not supported that, but it's one way to keep the spending in check so that individual departments do not overspend their budget.
Okay. Mr. Pappas.
Well, I would do what we've done. I would extend to the county what we've done in Anderson Township, and that's try to look at every form of collaboration that we can do. For example, I know that specifically, and I applaud any efforts at collaboration, but you know, there's simply in government, there's multiple levels, layers of entities doing the same thing. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there was recently an example where the county was having a unit do the permitting of industrial gases used like maybe in dental offices and such, and the city was doing the same thing. There was a lot of overlap, so they did away with one of them. I'm not sure which one was done away with, but one of them went away, and that saved the overall taxpayer, a sizable, not sizable, but a chunk of change. And I think that there's multiple areas where that can be looked at. And I think any time where you have a fresh perspective of new eyes coming in, you can maybe look at the same problem, but in different perspective, in different ways, and come out with new ideas and think outside the box.
Mr. Bertune?
Well, shared service is one of the ways in which we keep our spending and the budget in check. The specific issue that Mr. Pappas referenced, we did do away with. The county was doing it more efficiently than the city. The city and the county agreed to do it under the county's lead, and we're saving taxpayers in both hundreds of thousands of dollars annually because of it. That occurred because of the Shared Services Committee that I created at the county and led the creation of. But keeping our budget in check goes beyond collaboration. I agree we do that every way we can in every manner we can, but it also means that the existing departments cannot overspend their budgets, and the board has got to be willing to tell them no, and regrettably, in some departments, the board has been unwilling to say no to those departments.
Mr. Pappas, you can close the question.
I just think that, you know, it's a start. Collaboration may not be the answer, but I think it's definitely a start, and there's probably multiple areas of collaboration that can be done, and I think that more cooperation between the different entities of Hamilton County, as far as better communication between the different governments of Hamilton County, could help in that regard.
All right, Mr. Pappas, you brought up, it has been brought up about transportation.
Yeah.
And obviously Cincinnati is in need or could use or has continued to use varying items for transportation. How does one take a look at the city of Cincinnati, Hamilton County, and continue that idea of moving forward via transportation?
Well, I mean, I'll be very upfront with you. I was not if you're talking the city of Cincinnati, in the city, I wasn't a proponent of the streetcar. I thought it was too expensive, and I was not a proponent of it. I hope it works out, and I wish them well. I don't bear them any grudge, bear ill. I just hope it works out well. But I think the future of transportation, I'm a big proponent of buses. I like buses. I think the natural gas buses are clean, efficient. And the beauty of a bus line rather than a rail line is if a route doesn't work or needs to be changed, you just go in a different direction. I mean, it's very, very easy. Buses are very adaptable. They're very movable. And I think that's something I would focus on if I was to be in charge of transportation in Hamilton County.
Mr. Portune, same question.
Yeah, as the immediate past president of the OKI Regional Council of Governments and as the current chair of the County Transportation Improvement District, I've been immersed in this issue for a while. And what we need to do is all acknowledge the fact that we need a regionally funded, regionally service providing multimodal integrated transportation system that gets people to and from work, to places of entertainment and the like. That involves repositioning our bus system so that it provides more cross-county routes, regional shuttles around centers of employment and centers of population and retail and the like. But it also includes looking at our major arteries and serving them not with the buses but with more fixed guideway systems, whether that's commuter rail or whether that is bus rapid transit. Either one of those will apply. But we need to have regional consensus around developing this regional system. I'm a proponent of that. I think we're going to get there. We recently announced a joint collaborative agreement with the city to work on that issue, and we'll be moving forward with more on that.
Time flies when you have the right questions, and of course we're ending, unfortunately, and I do want to be able to give a closing statement. I hate to do this. We could have been asking questions all night long.
I can't believe we're done already.
I know, we're already
Jason.
done. I know.
I've got nowhere to go.
I am opening the opportunity for a 1-minute closing statement, starting with Mr. Portune.
Well, Jason, thank you very much. There's so many issues facing the county. We could go into it all night long. I'm running again this year because I believe there's a lot of unfinished business, and I stand as the candidate with the most experience to be able to tackle that. You've invested in me, and I've used that investment wisely to address a variety of issues, from MSD to regional transportation to public safety to working to create a climate that is more conducive to creating jobs in our county. I believe that our opportunities need to be available for everyone. I've developed relationships during my period of service to all of you that will stand all of us well as we tackle these challenges in the future. Again, I think we need to clean up the mess at MSD. We need to end the anarchy that exists with respect to the county budget, transport us into the 21st century, grow Hamilton County in terms of jobs, and provide for a much healthier and enjoyable Hamilton County for all. I'm Todd Portune, and I ask for your vote this November 8th. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Pappas, 1 minute to you as well.
Well, I would simply say that, I am the outsider in this race. I am the one with the new perspective, the new ideas, the new vision. And truly, Todd has the most experience. He's been there the most time. And these problems didn't creep up overnight. Some of the problems we're facing probably should have began to be addressed years ago. And I'm not pointing the finger at any one in particular. I'm just saying that some of these problems should have been addressed years ago. And I think that it's time for a change. I think it's time for a new direction. I think it's time for some outside business-oriented perspective to be interjected into government. People are tired of business as usual. People want new solutions to the old problems. And I think as the outsider candidate in this election, I offer that perspective. I have been a successful trustee in Anderson Township for 3 years. I've been a successful business owner. I've never missed a filing. I've never missed a payroll. I've never been late on any of fees due. And I think that, when you have the benefit or when you have the experience of meeting budgets in your personal life and your business life, that's something that you can bring to county government, to city government, any level of government, and I ask for your support.
Thank you both. I know that, like we just said, time does go quite by quickly, and we could have gone the next half hour, but unfortunately, time is time. And I want to thank you.
No phone calls?
No phone calls. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
But I do want to thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you very much for taking your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I also want to thank you for joining us as well. We've given you the information as well as the opportunity to listen to the candidates that are running for Hamilton County Commissioner. Now it's your turn. If you need a little more information, go to votehamiltoncounty.org. That is the Board of Elections website. There you can get all the information that you need, as well as polling places and times in which the polls do open. If you need any more information, you can always listen to more of our Waycross election forums throughout the month of October up to the November 8th election. I've given you all of the information that you need. The important thing to do now is to take that and make an informed vote in November. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Waycross takes no position on candidates or issues. We do these forums so that our residents may be better informed voters for the November 8th election.